What a show, 200 episodes. I bet you that's the longest running episodic show on internet television.
It's good to have you here for, what, 37, 38?
Yeah, 37, 38. Good to have you in the dungeon down in Baltimore. Hey, Doc, tell me something. If it weren't for you, probably be aces in 7, eh?
Yeah, man. Did you have Snapchat?
What do you think about Sting? Is he really the man called Sting?
Did you meet your girlfriend on flirtforfree.com?
Sting is the man. If he were in the Wyatt family, maybe I'd like him.
Do you have biscuits and gravy every day for dinner?
I like your beard. Are you trying to be in the Wyatt family?
Do you shave your armpits?
Do you hate him?
I think he loves me. Do you shave your head?
I don't know. What about that suntan biker man?
I don't know where the Suntan Biker Man came. That's never gonna get old.
Never.
They never saw it.
myself. Love it. All right.
Chairshot Reality, WrestleZone.com, YouTube.com/CSR Wrestling, full roster, Eisenberg, Ghoulish, Rennell Hunt, the new guy in town, Justin LeBar, coming at you. We got a full weekend of content. We got Healer Face in a little bit. We're going to split it up and talk about the ladies, but first, let's get going about what is the hot topic. But before we even do that, we're adding something. We try to do some trivial, try to work some things in. Rennell, that's what we try to do here. You smarten us up. We're going to do a little game every now and again called Who They Talking About. We'll give, one of us might challenge the rest of the panel. Give out a famous narration of a classic moment. I'll even tell you who said it, but we want to know who they're talking about. This one, we'll see who remembers it. We'll go back to it later. Who remembers it? Look at the size of that ham hog. Rowdy Roddy Piper. We'll get back to it in a little bit. Speaking of big ham hogs, not really a good segue, but speaking of big names, Karl Anderson, Luke Gallows, they made their appearance. Guys, I think it was done the right way without going over the top or without underselling it. Thoughts?
I think WWE does a great job at introducing them to a great crowd, obviously. It was a great crowd that night, and I think it was the right time. You can delay it another week. It didn't have to be the night after WrestleMania because there was already so many things happening there, and everybody was already spinning off of what was happening at WrestleMania. I think these two guys right now are at a prime spot. You have Jimmy and Jey Uso, who are kind of being soured on by the crowd at times. I think people are kind of getting sick of them. So what do? You introduce the new blood, the new guys. My biggest problem here is if you have these two guys, will it be AJ Styles? Will it be Finn Balor? Who's going to be the guy in control of those two guys? Because as a tag team, they're going to be really good. But they need to be more of a unit, more of a group of guys going after a greater cause. It can't just be Jimmy and Jey Uso.
And I like the way they were debuted too. It wasn't over the top. They brought them in against the Usos, obviously showing that they're in the tag team division to start. Will we see the Usos team up and Roman Reigns and then have that whole thing going on if, who we got? AJ Styles.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm concerned about the WWE, they do this a lot. They debut something or come up with a new idea or bring something in and then let it fall flat. You got to keep the momentum going with these guys. A lot of your audience knows them. A lot of your audience doesn't know them. If you're talking about bringing Sting in and no one knows Sting, last time we saw Doc Gallows in WWE, he's with CM Punk. Yeah. We're talking 5-6 years ago. Yeah. So.
Well, maybe Festus not. Honestly, I agree with something that you are saying. When we're dealing with this, once again, I feel like they brought it in just the right way. Number one, they didn't overcrowd it, the Raw right after Mania. And then number two, also, they let it breathe. They didn't do too much. They didn't do too less. I can agree with you on one point. They got to stay up on it. How many guys have we seen come in time after time? They're on fire. We're like, all right, they're going to climb quickly. And all of a sudden, WWE drops the ball on them.
A lot of NXT guys.
Right.
A lot of NXT guys that we thought were going to be great. Neville, I mean, the Ascension had a month where they were dominating everybody and then they fell flat. I agree. It has to be a consistent development of these guys. And you said it right, both of you guys. It's been so long since we've seen Gallows. You have to make sure that these guys are protected.
Well, and that was why it was great. Everybody, I know, compared a little outsider-esque. And, it is two guys that did come in kind of invasion style, so I see that point. But, not everybody is aware of the Bullet Club, especially WWE's wider demographic of an audience, the more casual fans, the younger fans. They're not aware of the Bullet Club, or they're not aware of Gallows from 5 or 6 years ago. So if they would have done a bunch of vignettes of teasing it, I think that would have been a very easy thing that could have happened if they could have came in under expectation. There would have been too great of expectations. Them coming in kind of an unexpected moment, not the night after Raw, not during a main event segment. It allowed them to exceed expectations because there really was no expectations. And it was one of the first tweets I had immediately after it happened because I kept harping the 4 words, let it play out. Everybody wanted answers, now. It's one of the first tweets I put out, and since I know a lot of other people have grabbed the same common logic. They attacked the Usos. Well, who are the Usos related to? Who's AJ Styles fighting for the title? I think if we let this play out, keeping momentum, but we let this play out, there's a grand potential for how this all could come. Maybe Triple H is involved with them. And we know Triple H is not going to stay off camera forever. Yeah. There's a lot of possibilities.
There's a lot of possibilities. I think the thing that I really like about these two guys right now is they look like a group. They look like they're not 3-4 guys in different countries just thrown together for no reason. You know what I mean? Like these guys look like they should be together. They look like, intense. You have Gallows he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. I mean, guys slimmed down even when he was on CSR a couple of years ago. When you have him and when you have Karl Anderson, who is a great technician, a very Arn Anderson-esque type of guy in the ring, with a little more flash than Anderson, this gives you potential for them to do just more than be a regular tag team. But Styles, Balor, how does this go about, guys? Does it have to be Styles?
Well, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Styles. There's a lot of options. It could be something we don't know about. WWE, sometimes they like doing things their way. Maybe there's a different leader, someone, maybe like Justin said, Triple H could be that leader.
It has to be Styles, at least preliminary. Maybe there is a grand higher power, whether it's a Triple H thing or I don't see it as a Shane thing because they kind of invaded into the show, which
was
Shane
his
is
show.
Right.
He
Wouldn't make
planted
any
it.
sense,
But if it is something that Triple H has sent in to do to cause havoc for Shane, if we are leading towards some kind of a show brand split again, I think preliminary though it has to be AJ Styles. So like you said, Gallows and Karl make a really good. They make a good tag team unit, but neither of them is really the kind that's going to take the charge on the mic and be the leader, so to speak. So whether it's AJ Styles, even his mic work's not the most polished. Whether it's AJ Styles, whether there is a mouthpiece, whether that's Heyman, Triple H, Stephanie. I don't think the Balor thing comes into play right now. I think really Finn Balor is staying in NXT for the time being. Not to say that Anderson and Gallows don't do some crossover with NXT, but.
That was gonna be my next question. It seems like we're in this aura right now where we see a lot of surprises coming. We see Apollo Crews come up. We're seeing the whole thing with Bullet Club. My thing is, do you feel like this can be a slow introduction? It's not quite giving anything away regarding maybe Finn Balor stepping out. Now I know you just knocked it down, but do you think that's a possibility, or they want to keep Finn right now still the face of NXT and let some things happen?
I don't see how. I mean, Finn's your flag bearer in NXT, and you just have all these guys that have now moved into Raw and SmackDown from NXT.
Cruz,
I don't
Enzo,
see.
Cassie, all
I don't
these
see
guys.
what sense it makes.
Yeah.
You could do all this stuff right now. You could do stuff with Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles, and then 6-8 months from now, whenever they are ready to bring Balor to Raw, SmackDown, you can
How great would that
you
be?
could
You
have
That
Anderson
would
and
be
Gallows
amazing.
who are on the downside of a beating or on the downside of things, and all of a sudden here comes Finn Balor. So
Or-
don't rush it.
And then
Don't
real
waste it.
quick to finish your point, you said Triple H could be behind it, but you're going to have more than 3 members of the Bullet Club. You have the Usos, you have Roman Reigns. Could this be where you insert the Rock at WrestleMania and make that 4th cousin?
We're already booking next year's
that's-
WrestleMania.
I mean, SummerSlam,
Hey.
SummerSlam.
Wow.
I tell you, man, Goulash is
Hey, he's on
fast
it.
track to Orlando. He doesn't go to Dallas.
SummerSlam. Well, I'm
Rumble.
thinking of WrestleMania because the
Skip Royal
size of that
Rumble.
ham hog was the Undertaker.
There you go.
There you go.
Because he actually said, "Hey McMahon, look at the size of that ham hog."
Look at Goulash coming in on the
Debut,
wow.
baby.
Oh, clap it up.
He wants to segue his ridiculous WrestleMania next year.
I
well,
so missed him.
what's that?
I so missed Brian last
In
week.
Dallas?
Last week on the show.
Oh.
I missed him.
I tried to fill in, man. I couldn't feel your shoes. Couldn't
You
feel
did.
'em.
You did. It's not hard.
We're
It's not hard at
privileged to
all.
have Byron Saxton with us, so. We've been trying to get him for a while.
People do
No,
Twitter
he's much more vocal than Byron
You have
Saxton.
more Twitter handles. Shout
He
out
just
here.
doesn't stand there and listen. Oh,
Share shot.
what a move!
Share shot reality. WrestleZone.com, YouTube.com. We got plenty more coming up. Heel or Face tomorrow.